Hello, my name is Julie, and this week I am reading Romance and Cosy Books. So if you missed my last two vlogs, I am hosting a readathon called Freezathon. It's a month-long team-based readathon, wintry themed, and there are 3 different teams, each of them themed around a different genre or group of genres, and I've already read thriller horror books with Tundra Tower, I've read sci-fi fantasy books with Fortress Frost, and now I'm going to be reading romance and cozy books with Castle Coco. It is almost the end of week 3, so we have a little bit over a quarter of the readathon to go, and these are the books that I'm going to be reading. The first is A Fragile Enchantment by Allison Saft. This is a light fantasy romance that's Regency era themed, but it is about our main character Neem, who is from a fantasy version of Ireland, and she has been hired by the Prince Regent of Fantasy England to be the dressmaker for his brother's wedding. The brother doesn't want to do the wedding, the brother's a little grumpy, and there's a lot of talk about how poorly the Irish people are treated by the English people. One thing that I'm excited about for this book is that some people have magical abilities that are like small and specific. Like our main character can imbue clothing that she makes with emotions or small abilities or memories, something like that. And I think that's gonna be super cool. I think I'm more excited about the light, cute fantasy vibes than I am necessarily the romance. We'll see if it's going to work for me or not. Then for the second book I'm going to read, I'm going to be reading Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. This is my book club's pick of the month, and this is a cozy fantasy. This is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, which was like the flagship book for the cozy fantasy trope being super popular right now. This is about our main character Viv, who in this prequel is being sent away from her life as a soldier to like take a break, chill out, and help out at a bookstore. I'm excited for some bookstore vibes. As a bookworm, of course, I've always wanted to work at a bookstore, so I think that this is just gonna be fun, and I love that it's a D&D setting mashed with an everyday life sort of pace. I haven't read Legends and Lattes yet, but I do own it and I'm planning on reading it. And the last book I am planning on vlogging is Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. This is a romance that is a 5-star prediction for me, absolutely. This is a friends to lovers where our main character Stella is running a Christmas tree farm. She's entering some sort of competition that'll help out her business. It looked better on the application for the competition for her to say that she does this with her boyfriend, and she ends up getting in, has to lie that she has a boyfriend. She ends up asking her best friend to pretend to be her boyfriend to help her out. So I am a sucker for friends to lovers especially because it is so rare. Like, I want more of it. I am really tired of enemies to lovers lately, so I am very, very excited for this one. I am hoping to get this for Christmas. I have a wish list of books that I give my family, but I basically told them I am expecting this one. After Christmas, that'll be the first book that I read. So I've already started A Fragile Enchantment. By the way, I got this as an ARC from NetGalley and the publisher, so thank you so much to them. I am reading this as an e-ARC, and I'm like 100 pages into like over a 300-page book, and I'm getting good vibes from this. I really like Neem as a main character, that she's determined and she really likes what she's doing, even though she's like stressing out and this is like a really big project for her. She's just sort of being introduced to this new court for the first time and trying to navigate it, and that's something that I like. The setup of her romance with the prince I'm liking more than I expected. This also has some pretty naturally incorporated queer representation. Our main character's bi, which is awesome to see in like a Regency setting. And I'm just having a pleasant time so far. I have been just like reading it right before bed while I've been reading something else, so I am ready to finally have it be the main book that I'm reading now. I am pretty busy. I have one last thing to do for the crochet orders that I've been working on. I have a jacket left and then I can ship it and then I'm done. I'm mostly done with my Christmas shopping. We'll just have Christmas like planning for actual people to come over. I'm going to be going home today, and I have doctor's appointments today and tomorrow. So that's going to take up a lot of my time. Hopefully I can read sooner than that. Welcome to my pretty messy childhood bedroom. There is just so much clutter here in every single corner of this room, and it stresses me out every time I'm in this room. And I also am on vacation, so I don't feel like actually fixing it right now. I think I'm about halfway into A Fragile Enchantment. This is exactly what I was expecting from this book, but in a good way. I was definitely a little bit nervous. I just kind of had the feeling that this, like, even though the synopsis sounded really interesting, that for some reason this book wasn't going to be for me, maybe because it was YA, it wasn't going to work out, or maybe because like some of the tropes or something like that. But no, I'm having a good time. I like the comforting feeling of the book, and I think that the relationships that we're having between these characters are fun. I like there's a couple of friends that our main character is making, and the relationship between her and the prince Kit I'm liking. Kit is very much the type of character where he puts up a front that like he doesn't care. He says that he's doing things for his own selfish purposes or whatever, and he's not. I like that this book is very much about wanting the Macklish or the Irish. Historical background in that is still so important to the book, even at this point in the book. I think that a lot of Regency era novels throw a lot of, the political stuff under the rug. Most of the friends that we've made in this book have revealed themselves to be queer in one way or another, and I do like that, like, they do have to have like subtle nods to it, but there's no shaming that has been done on the page so far, and everyone's just been like, oh, okay, you're like me. At this point, I have realized that because I've been so busy with like the crochet stuff that I did finish yesterday, I have been supremely behind on my reading. I still have the 3 books for this vlog that I wanted to read this month, plus I have one more that I need to read to have completed all of my challenges for this year, and it is the 23rd. I know it's physically possible, but it's hard to know because it's the holidays. All I'm doing today is chilling out. Might make candles for Christmas presents, maybe do some holiday baking, but I'm ready to actually have my vacation start today. Hi, I have gotten to 240 of 340 of A Fragile Enchantment. I have some guesses for some of the plot twist reveals, some things I definitely came up with before the characters came up with, but overall I'm having a good time. I like the things that our main characters are learning about themselves, and there's a found family element of it I liked. I'm gonna finish it tonight. I also did finally get my hands on Bookshops and Bone Dust, so I might be able to barrel through some of this today, which would be awesome. But I forgot to tell you what I thought of the first 2 Percy Jackson episodes, and that's that it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's literally everything I've ever wanted and more. There's a couple of the child actors that I think aren't quite hitting the mark of everyone else around them, but like as they get older, they'll get better. But Walker Scobell is a gift to this earth, and everything, there's so many things that are getting nailed perfectly. The aesthetic is great, the tone is great, humor's great. There's so many quotes being pulled directly from the books, and I'm just having a great time. So only the first 2 episodes have been released so far. This is going to be my entire mind for the next like month or so as it's coming out. And it's got like a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes right now, which it deserves it. So last night I did finish A Fragile Enchantment. I don't think my feelings about this book evolved over the course of the book. Basically, everything that I felt from the beginning, I felt at the end, and I liked the journeys that our characters went on and how a lot of these characters are hypocritical in the way that they're like really self-sacrificing, and then when a bunch of these self-sacrificing people come together, they're like, stop being self-sacrificing, and it's like, you too. I like the type of magic that we had. Honestly, I could have even seen more of it, but like that wasn't really the point. It was just like a light flavoring throughout the book. So this is a YA book, but there is an intimate scene. Like, if it went any farther, I would have qualms with it, but it kind of rode that line that I didn't think it was inappropriate for the audience. I wouldn't recommend it to young adult readers, but I do think that we need better categories when it comes to, you know, what young adult, new adult, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I liked it. I think I'm giving it like a 3.5. And I did start a little bit of Bookshops and Bone Dust. So Viv is a soldier and has gotten injured, and she's been dropped off in this town to recover, and she is really struggling. She doesn't want to. She is an orc. She like relies on her strength and being intimidating and everything, and being in a vulnerable position is not something she's used to. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that I'm really liking the descriptions of the setting that we're in, just like the language that is being used. So I didn't get very far, but I will be able to get very far today because my sister actually got pretty sick, so we will not be having our regular family Christmas Eve gathering. We'll be postponing it to a later date when people are healthy, just so everybody can stay safe. We'll just be chilling out as a small family today. Maybe we'll do a couple presents, but that means that my day has opened up. I just have a lot of time to do basically whatever I want today, which honestly is the kind of vacation I wanted to begin with. It's Christmas morning. I'm ready for it to finally start feeling like Christmas since we didn't have our little family get together yesterday. I got about 50% of the way into Bookshops and Bone Dust last night. Really, like, I think what a lot of people in the book club have been saying that have read this was that they cared more about the bookshop plot than the mystery. Viv is helping Fern jumpstart the bookshop that she inherited from her dad that's about to go under, and she's been helping, trying to refurbish it and get people to actually come to the store and discover reading and everything, which is very sweet. And I love Viv discovering that she likes reading. The mystery plot of there's some sort of magical soldier or whatever who has come into this small town, possibly following Viv, I probably do care about less, but I do want to figure out what's going on. I'm ready. I probably won't read a lot today because we'll be doing Christmas morning, and then I'll be doing a quick trip over to my boyfriend's and hanging out with them for an hour or so, and then I will be coming back and having Christmas dinner with my dad. So lots of things going on, but I'll be having a good time. Vlogs are so much more boring when you're just in the same spot, but I am limited at this house. So I did end up finishing Bookshops and Bone Dust. I've already returned it to the library. This book was cute and sweet. I didn't feel as passionately about this book as the other two cozy fantasies that we read for the book club this year, which were The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches and Howl's Moving Castle. Both of those were above a regular 4-star. Those were like 4.25, 4.5s. I liked everything. I don't think there was anything that particularly stood out as like new favorite stuff. I quite liked the character of Satchel. I liked how this was about a bookshop and refurbishing a bookshop and the love of reading. There was also quite a few like baked goods that were described that I'm like, absolutely. I think this splitting itself between the bookshop and the mystery with who has followed Viv into this town was good in terms of Viv's character arc. Because this is a prequel, she is, you know, more involved in like action-y things than she is when we see her in Legends and Lattes. but I think that kind of split the book down the middle in terms of what we could care about, and I think that made you care about either less, and that was sort of the consensus for the book club. Now I can announce that the themes that we are going to be reading for January through March of 2024 is historical fantasy. The 2 books that we are going to be reading are in January, The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, and then Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross in February. So I hope you'll join us for that. It's the second to last day of the year, and I finally got my hands on my last book for this vlog and my last book of the year. I'm not a romance girly. I have only started reading adult romance since maybe 2020. So comparatively, I've been a lifelong fantasy reader. I'm still like dipping my toes in, just trying romance and trying to see who I can really trust for recommendations. This has been a 5-star prediction for me. I'm very picky with giving out 5 stars with romance. Just about every single romance I have given 5 stars was not its original rating. I had to bump it up because I realized it was a 5-star. She's running a Christmas tree farm and it's going to go under if she doesn't get some money. The person who's hosting it has like always had couples featured when people have won this competition, so she lies and says that she has a boyfriend. Everyone tells her she didn't need to do this. It was completely unnecessary, but she partially thought it was necessary, and it was partially a little bit of wishful thinking because she's been in love with her best friend Luca for many years, and they've just never done anything about it, even though they are very clearly in love with each other. They're very affectionate. I'm already really liking the way that these characters interact with each other. I like the small town-ness. I like that we are, you know, saving a business. I think that's always a sweet plot to follow. And I haven't had any icks so far. I am 70 pages in and I have less than 36 hours left in the year. So hopefully I will still be able to finish this. I didn't necessarily want to rush this, but some of my plans have been canceled. Hopefully I can still enjoy this and get it done before the end of the year and do it for freezathon. Also, the readathon has been such a success beyond what I thought it was going to be. In fact, we have 150 people who have logged books. Such a blast getting to talk to people and running something that encouraged people to read. The only thing I wish went differently is that at every single check-in, we did have one team that was in the lead, and that lead has just increased as the readathon has gone on. So I wish there was a little bit more competition. But I don't know how much of that like I could have actually controlled. I have figured out that the Tundra Tower superpower prompts were much more difficult than the other 2. So in the future, like that's something that I would be able to balance out. The attack and defense prompts were pretty well balanced. Even if you personally used one more than the other. And I just think it kind of just went off better than I thought it would. So I want to thank everybody for participating. It's been a labor of love, and it's definitely something I would like to do in the future again. Let me do some more reading, and then we can wrap up my readathon and the readathon as a whole. So I got to page 130 last night of 300. Not quite halfway, but I was trying to go to bed early, and then I couldn't sleep. So go figure. But I am loving this. Absolutely zero things have given me the ick so far. I love the interactions between our main character and Luca. I love the small town vibes. Not everything that's happening is like the most realistic thing of all time, but I'm not having like logic jumps. There's not like an imbalance of stakes or like the stakes versus somebody's feelings. And I'm just having a really good time. There is so much like pining, and I am so loving this. This could be a favorite romance of the year and ever if like it sticks the landing, and hopefully it does. The judge of the competition has not shown up yet, so the competition part honestly hasn't been like very well defined. But it's okay so far. She's like getting the farm ready. And I have until like 7 o'clock tonight to read this. And then I'm going to a New Year's celebration. So that means I probably have like 5 hours to knock out 200 pages, which should be possible, but I don't want to rush myself. I don't want to push myself to read if I don't want to read. So let's try to do this calmly. All right, I finished it. My last book of the vlog, my last book of the readathon, and my last book of the year. This was literally everything I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted from A Friends to Lovers. Like, anything that I don't think I have any like things that I would have changed about this book. There were some like things that could have been shifted, like we could have had a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, but like there's nothing that I am outright didn't like or would have changed or anything, and I just wanted them to get together so bad. And I thought like the conflict of them getting together like actually fit with their characters and everything, and the third act conflict like made sense and was complimentary. And like it took me a minute in the book to realize that like one of the complaints that I had about our main character like is actually like the character flaw of like why they aren't together and everything. And it just it's everything I wanted. It was cozy, and I love how domestic these two are together, and they're very well suited for each other, and I just had a really good time. And yeah, I think this is probably going to make my best books of the year because I haven't had a 5-star in months. This was so good, and it's going to count for a ton of points for the readathon. This is the final readathon score, and I also broke down a couple other stats of what the average person on every team ended up doing. So let me know, what were your last reads of the year, and did they end up making your favorites? Because I'm very glad the last 2 years that I've waited until my last book of the year to do my list. Thank you all so much for watching. If you'd like to follow me anywhere, my link is in the description to all the things that I do. And as always, I will see you in the next one.